Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Um, Hope everyone's doing well. I'm just gonna go over a few things that pertain to this week, and then some things about today, and then we'll get into our assignment of haikus today. So first thing is just a reminder that your reading record is due tomorrow by 3:35. Tomorrow's April 1st. Your reading response on Padlet is due Thursday, and we are going to be learning about all different types of poems this week and writing different types of poems. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Miss Roberson mentioned that students are really liking when they get a chance to do some class discussions or talk via Google Meets. So I was wondering if you would be interested in doing this. Um, Possibly we could just do it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes. We would decide maybe a time, probably around, like, I would think around 1:30, where we could maybe meet in a small group, or we'll kind of decide. And we could do this, I could arrange it by day for groups of people, but I think small groups work a little bit better. um, and just have a conversation about what it is we're learning, or just talk about how we're doing in general. If this is something you would be interested in, could you just write me a little personal comment on this today, just letting me know, just so I get an idea if this is something that we should do. Okay, so today we are going to learn and write about haikus, and then after that, we're going to read a little bit from House Arrest again. All right, so haiku. This might be a review for some of you, and you might have done them in the past, but take a moment and just see what you notice about this haiku. An old silent pond, a frog jumps into the pond. Splash! Silence again. So maybe you notice that it's short. It has two shorter lines and one long line in the middle if you were looking at structure. Maybe you notice it's about nature. Maybe you notice there's an onomatopoeia. Maybe there's something else you noticed with the S's repeating, or I don't know, alliteration, or something else. That was a haiku. So basically, a haiku is a traditional form of Japanese poetry, and they're just usually really fun to write and play around with because you can, I don't know, do a lot of cool things with it. Uh, it consists of 3 lines. So the first line has 5 syllables, second line 7, and then the third line another 5. So Kigo is kind of the idea of a season in Japan. So Japan has 4 distinct seasons, and its climate changes dramatically from season to season. Haiku, having been born in Japan, has a rule that a haiku must have a kigo, or a season, word, so that readers can tell which season it is talking about. Kigo can be names of insects, animals, which symbolize the season, or natural phenomena, festivals, or other seasonal events. So, as we go through, I just like you to kind of notice these poems. These are traditional haikus, and just notice the details and imagery. So here's one by Richard Wright. Just enough snow for a boy's finger to write his name on the porch. So you know it's winter and it's snowing, right? Here's another one. In a misty rain, a butterfly is riding the tail of a cow. So again, it's rain, but then there's a butterfly, so you know it must be like summer. This one's a little hard to see. On a frozen twig, a little bird dreams of spring. Oh, to see the sun. And I'll let you kind of look through some of these traditional ones. I'll upload the slideshow. So as life has gone by and the form has evolved a lot, including um, including the idea of the syllables. Um, and the form sometimes gets broken, but the philosophy of haiku has been preserved. The focus of a brief moment in time, use of provocative, colorful images, an ability to read in one breath, and a sense of sudden enlightenment and illumination. So, some less traditional haikus might be ice and water, their difference resolved, our friends again. This cat one's kind of fun. Forever waiting, the empty food bowl taunts me. Well, where's my dinner? And this one's interesting, having to do with Lincoln's death. He opens the door and slips behind Lincoln's seat, primed pistol in hand. And you can also see some more of those. Haikus are easy, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator. And all different types. So I'll let you kind of go through these and look through them. There's one even with Disney movies. And then some student examples. So these might help inspire you as you're looking through. You can add some art to it. That always is nice. Okay. So what you're going to do with your haiku is, obviously you can't really do one with a partner, so you'll decide if you want to do a traditional haiku or intentionally break some of the rules. So you'll choose a topic. Maybe you want to use your heart map to help you, or maybe there's something that's not on your heart map that just kind of, based on looking at these poems, kind of popped out at you. So you can start writing, experiment, play around with it, and count the syllables. So you'll want 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Remember, we talked a lot about syllables when we did limericks like a week and a half ago. So if you need to refer back to that assignment, you might need to look back at what syllables are. When you're done, you can revise for imagery, figurative language, things like that. And if you finish all of those things, try a few more, but keep experimenting, spend a little bit of time on this. You have to have at least one haiku. I just put some topic ideas that were based on a student list from last year, but then I added a few things like the social distancing, quarantine, spring that weren't necessarily on there before. So these are some topic ideas. There's plenty you can choose from. So have fun with this. I hope you enjoy it. All right. So we'll go back to reading our house arrest book. I hope you're enjoying this book and maybe relating to it a little bit. Well, parts of it, like being stuck at home. Okay, so I'm going to move this a little bit over. Okay. We're on week 7. If you remember, we left off yesterday, and he was talking a lot about his life of dealing with, his brother being constantly sick, having to take care of his brother, not sleeping much because he's in charge of his brother at night and the nurse leaves. His mom works so much, and a lot of times he can't even get his homework done because he's so busy having to take care of his little brother. All right, so now we're on week 7 of house arrest.
Evan. James says there are no rules for this journal. That is more confusing than a wide receiver throwing a pass, James. If I talk in football language, Mrs. B, maybe James will understand more of my words. For weeks it has been. Talk more about that day, Timothy. Tell us how you feel, Timothy. Make sure we know you're not a nut job, Timothy. And now there are no rules? Grown-ups are the worst. I hear these little noises, sniffs and sad chirps, a hiccup, a blowing nose. Mom is crying downstairs. I made her cry, okay? I made her cry after I took the family photos off the mantle. I I made her cry when I threw the pictures out the door and in the yard. I made her cry when I yelled, "He left us and he's never coming back, ever." I said I was sorry after she stopped crying. I picked the pictures up out of the yard. I put them in the trunk of the car with the rest of his stuff I'm hiding in there. Jose came by on his bike, asked me why I was talking to the car. So I admitted it to him. I made my mom cry. It was me this time. Not a Bill. Not Levi. Not just from being so tired. I admit it to you, too. I made her cry, okay? And then I apologized to a bunch of photos and stuff in the trunk of our car. Because I didn't want Dad to hate me. Maybe I am a nut job. Oh, great. Now I'm crying, too. I hate this journal. A crackle in the breeze. I put down my math book, look out the front door. 2 bags on the mat. A mat that says, "Faux shizzle, welcome to our hizzle." A mat Dad bought because he thought it was funny. A mat Mom hates but won't throw away. 2 bags on the mat, filled with milk and bread and cheese and meat and even some Snickers bars. I look down the sidewalk. No one's around. I bring the mystery bag inside. Levi kicks his happy leg.
So right now, maybe you're thinking, where's this mystery bag from? Any predictions?
Week 8. I wasn't in juvie very long, just there to be processed and judged, but it felt like ages, eons, eternities. Stars imploded and were reborn. New planets formed. There was a supernova of shame growing inside me, and I thought maybe rays of blinding light would shoot from my fingers as they were pressed onto the fancy inkless pad, and my fingerprints joined the other galaxies of whirls and swirls, trapped in time. You look cold. Duh, Mrs. B, it's winter time. Where's your coat? Duh, Mrs. B, my arms have grown 3 sizes since last winter. Do you need a coat? Duh, Mrs. B, but you think I'm going to ask for one? You should take care of yourself. You don't want to get sick. Duh, Mrs. B, who wants to get sick? Have you had a flu shot? Duh, Mrs. B, who's going to pay for it? You should think about getting one. Duh, Mrs. B, I think about a lot of things I can't do. Timothy, are you listening to me? Duh, Mrs. B, are you listening to you? My mom is late. She'll be right here. My standard lie for new night nurses. My mom will be here when her shift ends, in 3 hours. This nurse plopped down a big gulp right on Mom's coffee table. The one that should have a sign, "Use a coaster or you will be murdered." Wow, Lexi is adorable. She's a cutie. I smelled cigarettes and onions when she opened her mouth. Actually, she's a he, and his name is Levi. Onion Mouth wrinkled her nose, flipped through some pages, sipped her big gulp. Oh, right, the heart kid. I shook my head. Airway kid. I pointed to the trach.
I'm going to stop us here just because we're going to run out of time. But good luck with your haikus. Please reach out if you have any questions, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye.